Welcome to another episode of Journey to Christmasland. I am your host, Kira Davis, and I am joined by my friend and resident Christmasland expert, Amelia Hamilton. Amelia, hello. We have a special guest today.
Hi, I'm excited.
Yes, we are continuing our journey through some of our favorite tropes, some of the things we love about the movies as we lead into watching fresh movies. So today we're welcoming a mutual friend of ours, one of my besties, and she is an amateur professional baker. That's what I call her, an amateur professional
Okay.
baker,
I'll
because
take it. I'll take it.
everything she makes is delicious,
Well, that's
and
true.
she focuses a lot on presenting a beautiful meal and spread for her guests. Please welcome to the show our friend Stacia from Los Angeles. Stacia,
Hello.
welcome. And
Thank
we
you
both
for
wore cream
inviting
today.
me.
We both wore cream.
And
Thank you, Amelia.
I have my most giant flower in honor of Kira. Just think of the
Congratulations.
size of an appetizer plate. Like I could
Stacia
put a
might
little weenie and caviar on here. There you
Stacia
go.
might win best guest because of this. Like very
Well, it
on
should
theme,
anyway.
on brand, on brand. Amelia, I think we shout out to Amelia though for not wearing cream today.
Yeah.
Good on you.
No, we're wearing blue.
Yeah, thank you. I guess Amelia's the unique one here. Well, Stacia, we're glad that you joined us today. We have been running down some of our favorite and not so favorite things about Christmasland movies, about Hallmark. And last week we did a show about our 5 of our favorite tropes. Baking, Amelia, was on that list. We had a lot to say about baking, and that's why we called you, because you're our best baker friend that we know. And I didn't know this about you, Stacia, until we called you for this show. I didn't know that you watched Hallmark so much.
Well, I wouldn't say so much, but I do watch them. I find them charming and relaxing. Like a couple times a year, I go to McDonald's and I get the grown-up Happy Meal, right? It's like a cheeseburger, plain and dry, because I don't do condiments. Amelia knows about how I feel about mayonnaise. And I get fries, and I usually get like a lemonade because I'm not a soda person. And it's comforting. It tastes exactly like I know it's going to taste. I know the place is clean, great place to use a bathroom on a road trip. There's comfort in the familiarity. And and you don't get unpleasant surprises generally, unless sometimes your fries are not hot or cooked enough, but that's another story. But I think Hallmark supplies a similar product with their movies. It's like a warm hug. It's comforting. It's a visit home, unless you had a crazy crack house home. It's like this sweet, nostalgic era that some of us wish still existed, where people were kind to each other and they dress like grown-ups and they have manners and ladies don't walk out with all their bits hanging out, and people aren't doing inappropriate things very, very quickly. And so it's sweet. It's homey. It's like there's a familiarity to it. And yes, it's formulaic. Is it groundbreaking storytelling? Cover your ears, lady. No. But I like that about it. And so sometimes, and I also like a lot of true crime and crazy scary murderer stories, but sometimes I need a palate cleanser. And there's something really nice about getting cozy on the couch with your fuzzy slippers and putting on a Hallmark movie and just being like, oh, this is nice for a little while.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that very much.
Amelia and I did a series on the 3 Wiser Men and a Baby series on Hallmark. It's very popular, and they finished out the trilogy this season. And one of the actors said, we're showing a more messy side of life. Like in that movie, there were people living together, which we are still not over. We're not over it. We are not over it. But one of the actors said, we don't want life to show life as so pristine. We want to show the real messiness of life. What's your response to that?
I think that it's a shame that we don't embrace aspiration anymore as a society. Think, when people demonize the beauty industry and fashion magazines, there was an aspirational quality about that. Are we all supposed to look like that woman on the cover? No. But maybe that lipstick will work for us, or maybe that's a great haircut for us. The same thing with movies and film. If we show behaviors that are positive, relationships that are healthy, family dynamics that aren't fraught with angst and sorrow and anger. Why isn't that a wonderful balance to everything else we see? Why does everything have to be about why something is wrong or why something is ugly? I think that having an element of aspirational entertainment is crucial for society. And again, it's like a palate cleanser because life is hard. The news bombards us. We need that. I need that happy meal. I need the
Right, I
happy meal.
like that. I need that happy meal, and that's I think it's a great way, Amelia, to describe why we love
Yeah.
Hallmark. She kinda nailed it. Well, Stacia, I'm gonna let Amelia get us into our subject today, but before, Amelia, I set you loose on that, just really quickly, Stacia, tell us what it is that you like about being in the kitchen, about baking, cooking, preparing.
This always surprises people when they ask me. I'm busy. I have a job. I have 2 jobs essentially. I
It's
mean,
Los
I'm
Angeles,
always
so yeah,
working. It's LA. We all have 50 zillion jobs.
and you're in traffic for 8 hours
I'm
a
in
day.
traffic. I commute 4 or 5 days a week. I don't have a lot of free time. People are shocked. People, non-bakers, not people that don't cook, are always shocked when my answer is, it relaxes me. Nothing bad can ever happen in the kitchen. And I'm not talking about burning yourself or cutting yourself because that stuff happens all the time. But I mean, when I was first really learning how to cook, and I had a grandmother that was a wonderful cook, and a couple of my sisters are really great cooks, and my aunt is a great cook. When I was first really learning, my sister Carol, who Kira knows, she said I was really upset because I was being her little sous chef in the kitchen. This is, more years ago than I'd like to admit. And I screwed something up. I seized the chocolate. We were making a cake or something like that. And I was like near tears. I was like really upset. And she looks at me, she goes, Stacia, why are you so upset? It's just chocolate or whatever it was. And I said, but I ruined it. And she goes, what's the worst thing that can happen? And I go, I ruined it. And she goes, no, we throw it out and do it again, or we order pizza. Who cares? And it was just this wonderfully freeing moment of like, the kitchen isn't a place for fear and doubt and judgment. It's supposed to be like expressing your creativity. It's very tactile. You're doing things with your hands. And it's also about nurturing. Baking for someone is like the ultimate way to show them that they're special to you, right? So when I get in the kitchen, it's like my yoga studio. I have or don't have a recipe that I'll ignore. I'll go off on tangents. I play music. I don't have the TV on or the news on or anything. And I'm just in there, like in my zone, enjoying playing. It's just, it turns off all the noise of the world and it focuses you on a single task. And you do have to pay attention when you cook. So it's incredibly meditative, if I can use a
Okay.
weird loopy
Yeah.
phrase.
I think
Yeah,
that's
it relaxes me and I enjoy it. And I love having people over and baking for people and cooking for people. That's my wheelhouse. I love it. It's just something that I'm very passionate about. So it's fun.
well, that is the function of baking in the Christmasland universe, which is connection and adventure and nurturing. So, Amelia,
Yes.
take us into the trope, one of our favorite tropes. We ran it down last week, of baking.
Yes. We get a baking scene in most Hallmark movies and most Christmasland movies. And like Stacia said, a lot of it is a moment of connection, a time to be together. Partly it's because it's an activity they can do while they're standing there talking, and it sort of gives us an excuse for the exposition. But it also is that warmth and that coziness and creating something for their family or for someone that they maybe have a crush on, but they don't even realize it yet, and they're never going to end up together.
You don't know until you've put flour on someone else's nose if you like them or
Right. You
not.
don't know if they're
No,
the right person for
no.
you.
Okay, we'll get into this in a
We
second.
will
But
we will talk about it. Don't you
all
worry.
right, all right.
I'm just going to
Put a pin in
quickly
that.
set up.
Put a pin
We're
in the
going to talk
flour
about
on the
the trope
nose for me.
overall.
Okay.
But we also are basing it around a couple movies that we've watched before. One is The Sweetest Christmas, which is a Lacey Chabert and Lee Coco. Kylie is expecting a proposal from her boyfriend / boss, which is another. What was it, Kara? What was the advice we got from Tuesday? It was like, never let
Don't let the booty
affect the business. Don't
affect
let
the
the booty
business.
affect the
Don't
business.
let the we went to Holidayland, Stacia.
We
That was
watched
who
a
we
movie on
went with.
BET that was, yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, don't let
That
the
was
booty affect the
Mark's
business. And
Mark
Kylie was
requested that
expecting a
movie.
proposal from her boyfriend / boss at a restaurant, but instead she gets a promotion. The owner of this other restaurant is an old high school boyfriend that she hasn't seen in years. So, the tagline thing is they help each other out. Is love in the air, or the log line. But the this is the one, the Lacey Chabert gingerbread house competition one that we loved years ago. The other one we watched
love
is
it.
one that I think maybe I know this one better. Pumpkin Pie Wars. We had a lot to say about this one when Kira and we did an episode on this. It's Julie Gonzalo and Eric Aragon. All right, 10 years ago, Faye and Lydia each opened their own bakeries in Emeryville, Ohio, which is, I don't know. Kira and I had a lot of questions about how they could support these two independent bakeries across the street, but okay. After
Maybe there's a lot of fat people in Ohio.
maybe.
guess.
A lot
After
of
a personal
baking
falling out
aficionados. A lot of
during
cookie
the
lovers.
pumpkin pie. They had a falling out during the pumpkin
Sorry.
pie contest. Now their children and coworkers, Casey and Sam, are set to carry on the rivalry as they go head to head in the contest. There's only one problem for these two people who are supposed to hate each other. They start to fall in love. Okay, so those are the two movies we're kind of basing it around and talking about scenes from, but we want to talk about cooking in general too. So a lot of the time, they are in the kitchen. We've got our characters in the kitchen, and in Pumpkin Pie Wars, she was completely inept. She had never been really in the kitchen before, and then her mom... Well, first, let me ask you this. Can you cook with a broken ankle? Because this woman definitely couldn't.
So this was, well, I'm of two minds on this for a specific reason. One, they couldn't have sat a stool by the table and had her like directing stuff. And yes, she could have, except a dear friend of mine who's a chef had foot surgery, and cooking is very physical, and you do stand a lot and you're moving from this place to this place. So that was like borderline.
But they were acting like she couldn't function as a human being.
Like her brain broke, not her ankle.
They were like, wait. Faye needs to go lay down.
And also, the girl, this was wacky too, since we'll start with Pumpkin Pie Wars, why did the daughter who didn't know anything about cooking or baking, who I think they made a couple comments about her almost burning down the house or something once. Some
she has
joke
done
about that. Why did she go off script and start making up her own recipes when she didn't know how to bake? Why didn't her mom just teach her to do the delicious things that she was award-winning for?
Well, as we know, she didn't even know how to mix, only stir or stir.
Oh my God. Wait, can I take a moment here? May I take a moment here for the Hallmark universe?
Yes.
Dear Hallmark, I love you, but let's have a talk. Okay. This is a whisk.
She brought props.
God, did I. You don't use this for bread dough. All right? If you're doing the bread dough with this, it gets all gummed up and you can't do it. So you don't do this with a whisk unless you're not cleaning your own kitchen. Okay? These are spatulas. When you're pouring the dough into the pan, you're scraping the bowl. My aunt called these child cheaters growing up because it would scrape all the stuff off. So if you got to lick the beaters, there'd be nothing left on it, which I thought was hilarious.
Rude.
Wooden spoon people. I mean, like, do they not understand the basic tools? I watch these people baking. I watch these people making cupcakes. I don't know a baker that doesn't use one of these for cupcakes.
I've never
seen this on an Amazon kitchen. Where is your little scooper, people? Also, you're decorating things. Every chef has about a dozen of these in all different sizes. Offset spatula. See how it has a little bend? We ice things with it. We smooth things with it. I never see these either. So, Hallmark, spend $100 at Chef's Kitchen or Williams-Sonoma or Amazon. And grab some basic props. You can use them from movie to movie. I don't understand why they don't set up basic kitchen tools in these things. It drives me. Using the wrong tool for the job is maddening to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, rant over.
What's her name? Casey or something? Anyway, the girl in Pumpkin Pie Wars.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I have to apologize for this dog. I don't know what's going on outside of this house, but
I can't hear it.
Okay, good. All right. So sorry to interrupt.
Dogs need no apology at any time.
We don't apologize. Yeah, we try not to apologize because we're living life as we record this podcast. So ambient noise, whatever. But I don't want Amelia to feel like
Myrtle
I don't
also has a friend over today. So right now, that's great because they're keeping each other busy. But we'll see.
Okay.
So anyway, we know that Casey has some decent tools. She has a KitchenAid stand mixer,
which
that probably came with a dough hook. Mine did. Yeah. But when she first uses it, it splashes everywhere because she is inept. And then I think that kind of goes into what we said a minute ago with if you don't get flour on your face for the, man to wipe off. Tell me how romantic it is to be super messy in the kitchen.
It's not. I'm going to tell you that I don't like anyone else in my kitchen while I'm cooking. and Kira has been to my house enough time with my parties. I will tell you, get out of my kitchen. Well, one, because
Mhm.
my kitchen is like the size of a shoebox. But even if it wasn't, I don't like people touching my thing. I hide my good knives with stunt knives on top of them in my knife drawer. Kira didn't know this.
Wait a minute. I've been using the poor people
The
knives
crappy
this
knife.
whole time.
Because people do things like cut directly on my tile counters, which is like sacrilegious for the good knives. So
Right.
I have
I
like
feel like I've been lied to this whole time. I've been coming over to your home. I've been using your knives, and I'm thinking I'm getting the best of the best, and I'm
no.
just getting what every other Joe
Uh-huh.
Schmo gets at your
Yeah.
house. I can't
The
believe
good
this.
knives are underneath the crappy ones. So if someone goes and grabs a knife and they're cutting directly on my tile counter, I can be carefree as be, right? I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
But I don't and I don't like a mess in the kitchen. You make
Yeah.
enough of a mess cooking. I don't think it's romantic to have someone wipe food on my face while I'm trying to bake. I find that distracting and it's unsanitary. Also, can we stop like sticking our fingers in the batter and licking it, or sticking the spoon in and tasting it and then sticking it back in? There's basic
Yeah.
kitchen hygiene there. I'm not following people.
Gross. I also I have always felt this way about people feeding each other, or like, we try not to use this word very much on this podcast, but like sexy food fights, or
Oh,
like,
Yeah.
I don't get it. No, it's like, ew, all I can think about is cleanup. All I can think about is like texture, what your skin is feeling. There's nothing to me
Yeah.
exciting about it. All I can think about is that someone's going to clean this up, and it's probably going to be me.
see like dipping a spoon in sauce and handing it to someone to taste or something like that. That's like
Yeah.
innocent. It's actually tasting. It's a little flirtatious, maybe, depending on the context. But yeah, you don't need to. Yeah, that's the less said, the
No.
better about some of that.
All right. So pumpkin pie contest is coming
Okay.
along. How long from start to finish is it going to take to get a completed pie while these people are just sitting there watching?
So I have no
Yes,
comment.
thank you,
I have
Amelia, for
no.
asking this question.
Okay,
When we
thank you.
first did this movie, I
Yeah.
said this. I was like, wait a minute. They're acting like this is like some kind of race or something, like it's a
Right. It's like a
100-yard
sporting event. Yeah.
dash. I'm like, are these
Yeah.
people supposed
So
to sit here and wait?
right.
Well,
So to set
now,
this up for those who haven't
yeah.
seen the movie,
Oh, yes.
the characters are in the town pumpkin pie contest, which is the biggest deal in the world. And like the whole town comes out to watch. First of all, there are multiple rounds of it.
Yes,
And they sit there
hours and
and
hours long.
they watch the whole thing from where they like gather their ingredients and measure them and mix and stir. And then, make the pie and then bake it and then taste it and get the
There's
results.
bleachers for people to watch,
Right.
sit and
And
watch.
Kira and I were sitting there
Super
thinking,
exciting to watch like the
Yeah.
oven do nothing. Yeah,
right.
I mean,
It's like I can see being there either at the beginning when they describe what they're going to make or at the end when they taste it. It's like watching Great British Bake Off. You don't sit
Yeah.
there and watch something rise for
Exactly.
So how long would a pumpkin pie take?
So it's interesting because I watched this and they had the several rounds, and I think the timer was like an hour on most of them or something like
Yeah.
that, their little clock. One round was pumpkin bread, and one
Okay.
of the pumpkin breads was like bizarrely yellow. It was like the jaundice version of pumpkin bread with, I don't know if they had saffron going on or someone got crazy with the food dye in the prop department, but they each made a pumpkin
Betty.
bread and they had an hour. You can do a pumpkin bread in an hour, depending on the size of your pan, if you've got all your ingredients ready. The bake is like, I don't know, 30, 40, 45 minutes max, not even. And the thing is, they never allow for like cool down time. So if you've ever watched Chopped or one of these like,
Yeah.
cooking competition shows, which are legit, right? They
Yeah.
have a limited amount of time. They're going crazy. You
Yeah.
see it all fall apart at the end when stuff doesn't have time to cool, right?
Right.
So there's like that time constraint is real. And a lot of these cooking competitions do have a time constraint. So for things like cookies or pumpkin bread or something like that, yeah, you can do that in an hour. It's not ideal, and it's never good to be rushing baking because you always do something wrong or forget something. But a pie. All right, let me take their specific pie. They didn't make a traditional pumpkin pie. They made a pumpkin silk pie. Now, for those of you non-bakers, a chocolate silk pie is almost like a chocolate mousse pie, right?
Mhm.
So you've got several steps. One, you're making your pie dough, your crust. Amelia, don't let me forget to rage about the crust that the guy was going on and on about. So you make your
The
crust and you
snickerdoodle
bind.
crust or whatever it was. Yeah.
No, it was a darn it, I'm forgetting now.
Maybe she had this.
It was a pumpkin silk pie with a streusel crust and brandy whipped cream, which, by the way, she had to have him teach her how to make brandy whipped cream. Lady, it's cream and brandy and a little sugar. Get the mixer out. It's
Well, she
not
doesn't know how
rocket
to eat. She
surgery.
doesn't know how to mix.
I know, but come on, that was sad even for her. She's supposed to have
And
functioning
again,
brain
every
cells.
KitchenAid stand mixer comes with the actual,
The whiskey
for
thing.
mixing,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it
the little
comes with
balloon whisk.
the dough hook and the beater.
She
And the
only knows
paddle
how
and the
to
balloon whisk.
stir.
Yeah.
She
So the
only knows how to stir.
So the pumpkin silk pie, a chocolate silk pie, is like a chocolate mousse, basically. So you're blind baking your crust, which means you're baking it without any filling, because otherwise you're going to have raw crust because you don't bake this pie. So she specifically talks about a pumpkin silk pie, which is an unbaked filling, and she puts it in the oven. And also streusel is like that stuff you put on top of pastries
crumbles,
or apple pie or
Yeah.
whatever. You can't make crust with that.
Yeah.
And I looked at I did the freeze frame on the video, and I'm like, there's no streusel topping on that I see. So are you saying you actually made the legit crust out of like streusel dough? That would fall apart. So it was like a streusel crust, pumpkin silk pie with brandy whipped cream. That's a lot going on. So yeah, she does the pie. They don't blind bake it. They pour the batter right into it. You would have to chill that. That thing would be pumpkin silk soup. And unless they've got a blast chiller in the back of that little podunk town tent
It was
thing,
Ohio in the winter.
even that, you don't get like an even. You want mousse is airy and light. You wouldn't really,
Well,
anyway.
it would have added if we had at least seen it fall apart at the end, at least that would have been something. That would have been some action. In
Or
this movie, we were just sitting here
Yeah.
ostensibly watching them.
Or how about have a realistic time frame and do a montage?
That was
Right?
my thought.
Do a
Yeah.
montage. Do like, hey, we just put the crust in the oven. We better work on our pumpkin silk. Then they can flirtatiously taste it and
Yeah.
do their little
What's
interaction.
the audience
She
going to be
can be
doing?
mixing up. She can be whisking up her brandy whipped cream that he taught her to make, and she can wink at him like, I know how to do it now because of you. You're so handsome and
There are
capable and all that.
Amelia, we talk about this all the time. There are so many opportunities with baking. It's a really easy insert into one of these movies. And Amelia, I do remember this movie thinking we could have done all this with a montage.
We need a montage.
We, the viewer, gets a montage. There are people sitting in the audience.
Yeah, but they're just
What
extras.
are they doing?
They're Hallmark extras. They're on day
What
wages.
are they
They are
doing?
beloved community members. And as Kira pointed out, because this was one of the older ones, Kira, well, not old, but anyway, it was old enough that you were playing Spot the Black People when we did the episode.
Yes.
And the
One of our
black
favorite
people were the
games.
only ones who knew that Betty was bad news from the beginning. And you could see in the audience being like,
She was so shady. And it was like, how did you people miss? And they'd known her for years. So
Everybody
she
knew
just
about
magically
Betty.
became shady. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, none of these people are Mensa members, right? It's, Christmasland is not a Mensa meeting. It's like but maybe they're shrouded in their innocence, right?
think they
maybe
are.
You
maybe
know
they
what?
haven't been spoiled by the world.
Let me
Maybe
interrupt you,
that's a good thing.
Stacia. I'm going to get a little deep here for just a second. We don't like to get too deep on this podcast, but I'm going to get a little deep here just for just a second, because this ties into my Bible study that I was doing the other day about, and then we were in Genesis and we were studying creation, and about like the fall and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And this study I was reading suggested that, humans were meant to be, we were supposed to be here on earth, like this was our place, but we were supposed to be more innocent, almost childlike. And then taking that apple gave us all of this knowledge that we weren't supposed to have. And I wasn't sure exactly what that meant. I said, well, what does this look like? Does this mean humans were meant to be kind of big babies? But I think no. I think what that author meant is exactly what you just said about Hallmark. And this is why we love it so much, is that the true, I think, or the best state of nature for humanity is that innocence, that wide-eyed innocence, that excitement for life, and the childlike, not childish, but childlike view of romance, family, community, the world. So in a way, Hallmark is biblical. I guess that's what I'm saying.
I think that's a great point. And
Yeah.
there is a sweetness to that. Look,
Yeah.
when we buy our Happy Meal, we know what's in the bag.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what it is. All right, Amelia, let's push forward.
Okay. So,
All right, wait.
just
One more
so
thing I have to
yeah,
say, I'm
Oh,
sorry,
please.
about this,
it's
the
okay.
baking in this. This thing drove me crazy. So, we started this whole movie with the whole two houses equal in dignity and fair Verona where we lay our scene thing, like
Yeah.
the Romeo and Juliet trope.
Yeah.
We get it, we get it. They hate each other because they competed and her dad bought her a bakery and she didn't bring her in as a partner and whatever. The big thing that they were like arguing over, and then at the end they're like
Pancake scones.
denouement where they made up was, you gave me your secret scone recipe. People, scones are one of the simplest. There's like 5 ingredients in a scone.
Yes.
There's no mystery to a scone. There's no secret ingredient in a scone. Have you writers ever eaten or encountered a scone or heard of what a scone is?
The
That's like
secret
saying
ingredient is
your
fentanyl.
your secret ingredient in this glass of tap
Could it be?
water. You must tell me. It's a scone, people. I
Oh.
mean, couldn't you have chosen something a little more challenging? Have
Right.
these writers never been in a kitchen? I
No.
ask this constantly.
No, we talk about this a lot
Yeah.
about what the writers, what they're experiencing, because you can only write what you know.
Yeah.
And so you can always tell when writers don't know anything about romance, men, women, moms and
Except
dads. You see
I
it a
gotta
lot. Amelia, I
say,
got to push us forward. We're running out of time here.
okay.
Okay.
So along the same lines as with the hidden recipe, we've also got Betty who steals the recipe. So I
Yes.
wonder, how realistic is it? How much are people out there, not for scones obviously, but hoarding their recipes? And
Yeah.
Mm.
let's talk about what that
Legit.
would be like.
Ask any
Yeah.
daughter-in-law, ask any grandma, mother-in-law. You will get the rest of the family recipe, and there's something that's not the same. So a lot of people hold back. Some of my recipes I just don't share.
Yeah.
It's a family
Mm.
recipe. We hold on to it. My chili recipe is like legit. I know how to do it. Nobody else needs to know how to do it. So yeah, it's common, and it's also common for in the culinary world for a chef to steal another chef's dish off a restaurant menu and pass it off as their own, or that's happened in famous cookbooks before.
Okay.
Where celebrity chefs have kind of been slammed for including recipes in their cookbook that really were originated by another chef. And so that totally does happen. People do guard recipes with their life. I actually think it's more common for people to not be super generous with their recipes than it is for them to share them, except I think it's become more common with like the Instagram
Yeah.
world where people are posting content on their recipes. I never
There's
post my
nothing they're
recipes as
not
content.
sharing.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, when my 9-year-old Uncle Bill died a couple years ago, and he was well known in the family for 2 things, his pound cake and his yeast rolls, and he would never give either recipe up, and then he was this sounds terrible. Luckily, he was dying, right? He had some time at the end, and that was one of the things he left us with. He on his
Mhm.
deathbed, disseminated the yeast roll recipe and the pound cake recipe. And man, oh man, I tell you what, that yeast roll especially was coveted. Many tried and failed to replicate it over the years. If you got a bag of yeast rolls from Uncle Bill at Christmas time, you were really special. So,
Wow.
yeah.
And that's another, just as a quick aside, that's another thing about baking. There's a generational, in ancient times, people used to share stories over the generations, and that would be passed down and passed down and passed down through generations in a society. I think recipes are that for modern society. You get your grandma's or your Uncle Bill's yeast rolls, you get your aunt's, carrot cake or whatever it is.
Mhm.
And we have a family recipe book that we actually all wrote down our
Oh,
recipes, and we copied it when my oldest sister got married. We copied it for everyone, and so all the siblings in the family got the family
oh, how
binder with
nice.
all the recipes. Now, some of them are wrong because my mom did it, and she was not a good cook.
Yeah.
Bless her, she was a
Bless
lovely
her
person,
heart.
but not a good cook. She set off the smoke detector making lemonade more than once. I mean, I don't even
I feel like that's me.
it's bad. But we pass down, or you pass down your recipes at generations, and that's like telling the tales of the family, of the ancestors, right?
Mhm.
So I think there is that sharing of recipes from generation to generation. and teaching someone in that generation to continue the tales of the elders that came before. And not everyone cooks, but there's somebody in every generation that wants to get in the kitchen and wants to learn those.
That's my Ruby.
Yes.
All right.
I don't cook, but she loves that kitchen.
So I want to, okay, so both of these movies featured some kind of competition. Have you ever done a competition, a cooking competition?
I did
Or
a
baking?
chili cook-off once.
Ooh.
Yeah, I did a
With the
chili
famous
cook-off.
chili.
I have not done a baking, like a legit, no.
I
You know,
want you to audition for Chopped. I tried to get you a while ago, but you were like, no, it's too much pressure.
I'm not a professional chef. I am a passionate home cook and baker and a little bit of an amateur mixologist, but I am not a professional chef. And these people that Chopped, especially, these people that compete are legit. These are professionals. That's like,
Well,
I'm not
maybe
gonna-
you could get on Chopped Junior and you could compete against
I
the
think
kids.
there's an age limit on that. No, and the same with the Great British Baking Show.
Yeah.
Actually, our friend Dana was on
Yes,
there.
our friend Dana
she got
was
to the
on there.
finals.
She
went
made it
very
all the way.
far.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she went all the way, I think, to the finals.
She went to
is
the
an
finals.
incredibly talented chef and baker,
Yeah.
home
Home
self-taught.
chef. Yep.
But she bakes like every day. And that's one of the things
Mm.
about baking is it's about muscle memory. And it's about recognizing textures and sounds and smells in the elements of the dishes you're bringing it together. And I don't do it consistently enough, especially now. A few years ago, I was really baking a lot more, but I don't do it enough that I would feel comfortable competing. Also, I don't care if you're over at my house and you don't like it, there's the door. I don't need a timer telling
Yeah.
me I got 40 minutes left. I want a
Yeah.
cocktail in my hand. I want chit chat with my friends. You know, I want celebration. I don't think I'm a competitive person.
You know,
Yeah.
this is, I
I'm
don't
the same
see
way.
in Amelia in Christmasland, I don't see a lot of sports competitions or other
true.
types of whatever other types of competitions are, math or whatever, academic. But there is a plethora of baking competitions. It seems
Yeah,
to
why is
fuel
that?
the Christmasland universe.
Why
Seems
is
to
that?
fuel it.
I
What's your
think
theory,
baking
Amelia?
just, like we said before, gives people the opportunity to sit and talk and to connect and to create something for someone else. I think being in the kitchen can advance the plot better than
And it's competition without the brutality of real
right.
competition, because we don't invite any negativity into Christmasland, right? There's none. But you need competition, but competition can be, surprise, surprise, competitive. So you make it baking or cooking,
Yeah.
it
We
takes
do
the
get,
edge off it.
We do get competition like in business where they're going for the same promotion or the same
Oh,
account.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
we
do get
think
quite a bit of
about that as bad.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a source of conflict,
Mhm.
not like there's something
Not
about the
connection.
baking. I think if they say if you're going to have a cookie at the end, how bad can it be? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like there's that
Yeah.
a sweet element that's like, oh, they're not real, they're competing, but it's cake, you know?
Yeah.
So it doesn't
It's like a
feel
kiss.
like
If you're going to have a
antagonistic.
kiss at the
Yeah.
end, how bad can
Yeah.
it be?
All right. So in the sweetest thing, we've got pizza
That's my
and
favorite.
gingerbread houses. Are these
I
skills
love this movie.
transferable?
Can I tell you what bothered me the most about this movie? And it has nothing to do with baking or cooking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please do.
She picked the wrong guy.
She picked the wrong guy.
She was, and I like Lacey Charbet or whatever her last name is. I think she's super Chabert. Sorry,
She's the
I think
queen of, she's the queen of
super cute.
montages.
She's super cute. She's charming. I think probably in person she'd be a lovely person to go meet for ice cream. She seems like a really sweet person. Her character in this made me want to throttle her. She was so, first of all, how fickle are you that you think you're being proposed to? You're dating your boss.
All right.
Dating
Flag
your
number one.
boss. You go on justifiably what you think is your proposal dinner because he wasn't the sharpest crayon in the box.
He really,
He was sincere.
He was
The
hinting.
rose petals and everything. It's like, okay, that was a
he
little
was
over the top.
throwing out all kinds of flags. I thought it was
big
terrible.
time. Every signal. And then she breaks up with him because she was upset about how that went, which I could understand why that didn't go well. But then 5 seconds later, she's like falling in love with the ex-boyfriend that she broke up with.
Welcome to
And
Christmas.
it's like, wait, you were going to marry that dude 2 minutes ago. And now you want this dude? It's like, so basically you were either lying to yourself or lying to your boss boyfriend or whatever about your feelings for him, or you are the most shallow, fickle little cookie running around town. And also that her boss was such a nice person. He was so trainable. Like when he was taught why that didn't go well, he went, "Oh, I can see that." And did you see in that one scene, he was like offering to sponsor her and pay for everything. And she's like, "I don't want to be controlled." He wasn't controlling you, lady. He was going to pay for everything and let you explore your freedom and independence and creativity. She was an idiot. The ring was a little questionable in the gingerbread. She should have chosen the businessman. Now she's stuck with the restaurant owner. Have you ever dated a chef or a restaurant owner?
No,
My
but I feel
mom
like
was a
that's
chef,
intentional.
so
I
yeah.
do not recommend that. She
No.
will regret it. She's got the ex-wife that's the mother of the son that she's gonna have to be dealing with. It's gonna be
Yeah,
all
that
this
lady
fight.
definitely lives in Holidayland.
That's gonna be a
Yeah.
problem. She's got the restaurant-owning husband that then she's gonna go work there. Kira, you have a husband. Your husband's delightful. Do you wanna
Mhm.
spend 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with him, working and living with him without relief?
He was home for 3 weeks over Christmas, and I'd like to lose my mind. I just about lost my mind, so the answer to that is no.
I
He's currently in Maui on a corporate retreat, and I have no jealousy at all because frankly, it's a relief. No, absolutely not. But
Can you
Stacia, what you're
imagine?
speaking to, Amelia and I talk about this a lot on this show, the idea of the ex-boyfriend. So here's the thing,
Yeah.
2 things. In Holidayland, you can't have any negativity, so it's gotta be a nice breakup, and he has to be nice, he can't be bad, because you can't have lingering bad feelings, you can't have lingering resentment. Christmasland does not hold those things. So it's always gonna be a nice guy and a nice breakup. Number 2, Amelia, I still think we need to someday write the story of the
Of
ex-boyfriends,
the
the
ex-boyfriend.
ex-wives. Yeah, maybe they
Yeah.
find each other out there somewhere in the world.
They probably do, but in the big city.
Oh,
Right. Yeah,
Mhm.
in the big city, I think there's a story in there. Well, but so fair enough. We didn't care
Okay.
for her relationship, and it
no.
never matches up, right? Because they're the
Mhm.
sweetest, kindest, nicest people in the world, and then they have the
No.
worst relationships.
And I thought, look, he was a little clueless, but a lot of guys are. That's not like groundbreaking. And was so sincere and he had a good business. He was successful. He was a provider. He was all these indicators of like, here's a happy future for you. Here's
Yeah.
a
Like
happy,
Reality
stable
Bites.
future for
Do you
you.
guys remember that movie, Reality
What
Bites?
I never
Did you
saw
ever
it.
see that?
I
Reality
didn't
Bites with
either.
Ethan Hawke, Winona Ryder, Ben
Okay.
Stiller. It was a 90s.
I know it's like a
Okay.
Gen X,
But
everything.
Ben Stiller plays like the corporate Hollywood, like he's an agent or he's got a job, a real job. And they're all in their 20s. Ethan Hawke is a slacker musician. And, in the end, Winona Ryder ends up with Ethan Hawke, but now that I'm 51, my husband and I recently rewatched that movie. And now that I'm at the time, I was like, well, heck yeah, you go. Ethan Hawke is hot. He's moody. He can play a guitar. Like, yeah, he looks so sexy when he smokes. Like, yeah, of course you would pick Ethan. Watching it as a 51-year-old woman, I'm like, why did she pick him? Pick the guy with the job.
Yeah. And the nice one. And the guy that's going to show up and the guy that's going to like
Yeah.
father the children well as a partner,
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that guy kept on saying, I want a partnership. And that was his love language. It just didn't match with hers, maybe, but that
Her
was his
love
love
language
language of
was
like
food.
her love language was like pie in the sky, feet not on the ground.
Well, it's Hallmark. She can get that there.
Yeah.
She
And
can
she
get that
did.
He's
there.
got a world of Hallmark or no,
It's
that's not a
it's her
happy
world.
future.
All right,
No.
go ahead, Amelia.
All
Sorry.
right.
All
So
right.
let's talk about anyway. So okay, pizza and gingerbread. First of all, I mean, I guess you bake the crust.
No,
I don't
okay.
know.
If we're
they're very
talking about
different.
the whole thing about the ovens, all right? All right.
Yeah.
So for those of you that haven't watched, she lives with her sister because she lost her job.
Yeah, she doesn't live
I
with her
remember her
sister,
living
I
with her
don't think. I think
sister.
she lives on her own,
The
but she has to
gingerbread.
borrow the
Was she
oven.
baking at her sister's and the
She was
nieces
baking at her
broke the
sister's. They were
oven?
using
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
ovens
yeah.
all
Okay.
over town.
So
Yeah,
she's
we couldn't use the
she's
other oven. Yeah.
baking at her sister's. No, I thought she lived there too for some reason. I don't know. Anyway, baking at her sister's and the oven broke. It's a small town. They know everybody. Their parents don't have an oven. There's not
Right.
somebody else in town with an oven. So she, of course, goes and asks to use the oven of her
The restaurant.
ex-boyfriend
Yeah.
in his Italian restaurant. So anyone that's been in a restaurant kitchen, this is my favorite part, the dedicated entire huge table for her tableau, her like fourth grade diorama of gingerbread that could sit there for days and days and days. Have you
Yeah.
been in a restaurant kitchen? There's like
Yeah.
this much space with nothing on it. It's like you use every bit of space. It's not a bakery, it's an Italian restaurant. So they probably have like maybe 2 convection ovens. And unless they are utilizing Chef Mike, as people say, meaning throwing stuff in the microwave
Oh,
to
Yeah.
heat it up, they're using those ovens. Think of an Italian restaurant, pizza, chicken parm,
Yeah.
garlic
Mhm.
bread, baking things in the oven. They're heating up the food in the oven and they're doing full service for lunch and dinner, apparently, from this thing. So this is a magical Italian restaurant with an oven that they can dedicate to her gingerbread, with an entire stainless, cook
Mhm.
surface, prep surface that they can leave for her to set up with all her crap days and days at a time without disturbing it. There never seems to be anyone in the kitchen when she's there. I know they say she's there after hours, but
I
again,
was gonna
have
say
you
that, yeah.
ever been in a restaurant kitchen?
There's still prep.
They're cleaning down after dinner service, which goes late. Restaurants will close at like 10
Yeah.
o'clock, even if it's like Podunk, wherever, and they close at 8. They're prepping for the next day. They come in early to prep for the next day. Where are her ingredients? Because I don't see her ever showing up with a grocery
Good
bag.
point.
When you bake gingerbread, which is, other than like elaborate cakes, it's the most decor intense and heavy baking thing, right? Where is all that? Where's all the eggs? Where's all the spices that would not be already in an Italian restaurant
Right.
kitchen?
The ginger, the
Where is all this?
molasses.
Yeah,
Or what does
molasses.
the chef, or what does Black Best Friend Chef,
You
to
mean the
be
one
now
that
this
never
lady is
works?
coming into his kitchen
No,
every
he's never
day.
working. You never
He's
see
trying
him
to work. He
cooking.
was happy though. He was happy. He liked
He
it.
stands there all the time. He has time to sit down for coffee with her in the afternoon.
Yes.
It's like,
Yep.
what?
It's a small
Again,
Ohio town.
Hallmark, do a field trip with your writers. Wrap them in cotton wool so they won't get hurt, and put them in the end of a kitchen and just let them watch service for like an hour. And you're going to need counseling for them afterwards. You may have to like talk them down for all the swear words and whatnot. It's a little scary there, but that's not how it works. Oh my gosh.
All
The
right,
kitchen
Amelia, we are
thing.
coming up. We're
Okay.
pushing towards the end of this podcast.
Yeah.
So
So, just 2 more questions. First of all, what did you
Okay.
think of the decorating, the gingerbread house decorating?
I have
Aside
thoughts.
from the fact that they didn't have their piping bags and their offset spatulas.
I was frankly surprised at how juvenile and
This is
poorly
the biggest gingerbread
executed.
competition in the whole world, Stacia.
In the whole
No,
world.
no, no.
It's an international
Yes.
gingerbread
Yes.
competition.
And they have the
International.
famous queen of gingerbread that came. Her thing, which she pulled together in less than 24 hours. Remember, you need time to bake and things to cool before you ice
Right,
them
as we
together. You need time
discussed.
for your royal icing to harden so your structure holds up. It was a working carousel. You think you could also, wait a
love
minute.
that.
She totally broke the rules and should have been disqualified because they specifically said you get 1 electrical moving element. She had 2. She had lights and motion. So unless there's a magical device that both lights up her carousel and makes it rotate, she cheated.
Plot
I think
hole.
the carousel powers the lights.
That's 2 devices, though.
Well, this
They said
needs
1.
adjudication. This needs adjudication in the Christmasland courts because we found
Oh
a
man, we
severe
need to
plot
start doing
hole here.
Christmasland court. I like it.
Yeah.
We
need
have found a
Christmas
severe
court.
pro- We
Can
need
I be a judge? I'll get one of those wigs.
We demand
Okay.
a recount.
All right, final thought. I would like
Yes.
to know, what are some things they got right?
When she was teaching the son to bake,
Mhm.
and he was super impatient when he was baking cupcakes for his class, and he was super impatient for the cupcakes to cool, and so she left the room and he iced them and the icing went everywhere.
Yeah.
And she said, I told you you have to let them cool, otherwise the icing will melt. And they did a really cute save with snowmen, melted
Mhm.
snowmen.
Yeah.
Although
Yeah.
she referred to them as marzipan snowmen and they were marshmallows clearly, but that's okay. I'll forgive her. But yeah, some of the stuff like that was super
She's
cute.
never seen real snow. She's only seen snowflakes in Canada in the summer.
No, but there's a
Right.
difference between marzipan and marshmallows.
I know,
And
I
it's
know.
like, it's like
Again, the
alligators and
writers
armadillos
didn't
are not
know.
the same thing.
Yeah.
But I
Right.
thought her cooking with the son was
Mhm.
actually pretty realistic. And I am going to say, I'm going to apologize if this isn't Hallmark. I'm going to say the series that does the best job of presenting realistic baking in like the Hallmark milieu, if you will, is I don't know what it's called, but it's with Allison something
Oh,
Sweeney.
Sweeney.
And she used
The
to
pie
be
baker, the
no,
mystery?
she's like a detective with a
Yeah.
bakery, and,
Yep.
she's charming, I like her,
Yeah, those are
and
the Hannah Swenson mysteries.
I like her and her little bakery, and somebody that writes for that show actually understands baking because
Yes,
Mm.
and so
90% of what they do is, like, seems legit to me.
yeah,
So that's,
those
like,
are
that's
based
the gold standard.
yeah, those are based on a series of books, and I
Oh.
think so. I think the original author is a baker. Also think, Kira, I think Victor Webster is in that series now, 'cause I think it was Cameron Matheson, and then he went
No,
to Great
Cameron
American.
came back, at least in the episode I saw, because
Cool.
Victor was the lawyer. I've watched 5 or 6 of these because I think they're fun, and I like Allison. She used to be Sammy on
She
Days of Our
on
Lives,
Days of Our Lives,
and I loved her,
always. Days of
and
Our
then
Lives,
now
she'll always
I
be.
think she's super sweet, and so
Yes.
Victor was the handsome, also a soap opera
Yes.
veteran.
We
He
love
was the
him.
DA or
Not
whatever.
sassafras to us.
Now
Yeah.
Victor's engaged or dating someone else, and she and Cameron were dating, but they broke up, but now they just got back together at the end of the last episode I watched, and he was her taste tester, and it was
I
super
need to
cute.
catch up.
So
See,
I
everybody?
surprised you. You did not expect
You
me
did,
to
I
spoil
didn't know it.
Spoilers.
And, like, in the poster for the most recent one, it's still Victor Webster, but
Okay, so I don't know what order I'm watching them in. I
yeah.
just pulled them up on my Amazon Prime, and I'm like, "Oh, that looks cute," and again, I'm charmed by her, and they really do understand baking for the most part, so I
Okay.
don't get ragey when I watch those shows because it was like, "Okay, somebody's been in a kitchen." Okay.
It's how
Okay.
I feel when someone in Christmasland has a job as a writer or a journalist or a blogger or like
Yeah.
anything in the news or writing industry. I'm always like, this is not at all how
Yeah.
it would be working for you.
You're
And
not
you
doing
would
it in
n
20 minutes at night in the hotel after
yeah,
you
no,
just,
look
like,
with full
almost kissed
makeup,
that man,
full
and you're writing
face.
about his competing hotel, not his family's bed and
That's right.
breakfast.
Yeah.
You're gonna
Yeah.
break his heart because he misunderstands and doesn't read the whole review. It's not that.
No, and I don't get flown
Oh, we
all over
love
the country to
Graham.
review fancy hotels or country clubs or cute little bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
I'm available though if anyone wants to reach out.
Yeah.
Amelia and I we'll come and review your cozy cute B&B.
You bet we will.
Yep.
And
And if
Hallmark?
you have a handsome son who has just come home from the big city, we would love to give him some work to do, you know. I'm married, but Amelia has a lot of heavy things to lift and tall things to reach.
I do. And if I fall off the ladder while I'm trying to reach him, it's a good thing he's there.
You can catch her in a picturesque manner. On a Hallmark, if you need someone to come and help you make your cooking things a little more
You need a
realistic,
consult.
I'm happy to consult.
He's there in Los
Mhm.
Angeles.
I'm in
Okay,
LA,
there you
I'm
go.
probably local. I'm happy to just tweak
She's
just a little tweak.
local.
Don't need to affect the storyline at all. You guys are wonderful. What you do is so charming and enjoyable, but let's just bring it a little bit into like something that's realistic with just the baking.
Just
That's
the
all I
tiny
ask. Just in baking.
Okay, that's fair enough. Well, I think we need to wrap this up. Amelia, thank you so much for taking us through our baking questions. Stacia, before we go, is there anything you'd like to leave the audience with? I don't know if you want to, you're just our friend on here, if you want to push anything out there,
Eh.
but what are your final thoughts on Hallmark, baking, or whatever? In Christmasland, we always leave on a positive note.
You guys all know I enjoy Hallmark movies. I think they're charming and sweet and nostalgic, and it's like a warm hug. Christmas, what's not to like about Christmas? You put the two together and add baking. These are really some of the only Hallmark movies I watch are the ones that are either have Christmas or baking or chefs or whatever in it. Learn to bake cookies, people. Learn to do a simple thing. Teach your kids how to cook a meal. There's something wonderful about it, and I hope Hallmark never stops being Hallmark. I hope they continue to produce these really sweet and heartwarming, wonderful things that leave you feeling good at the end. That's what we need.
I agree. Amelia, closing thoughts?
I mean, I love the baking montages. I love to bake. I'm not saying I'm great at it, but I enjoy it. So they're fun to watch. It was fun to get Stacia's more expert opinion, though, and take us through.
And I love both these movies. They're both like
Mhm.
Amelia and I had a a great time reviewing both of these movies. Pumpkin Pie Wars lives in my heart as truly one of the greatest baking masterpieces
It's so
in
good.
Christmasland. It is
Even though
ridiculous.
they kissed before the end of the movie?
Yeah,
We had thoughts about that.
we had thoughts. We
I thought
don't
that was a
like
little
it.
scandalous.
It was.
Well, we've had a lot of scandal on this show this season. We've gone over to Holiday Land one too many times for my taste, actually.
Yeah.
So, but Stacia, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to stop by and chat with us about baking in Christmasland, baking in the Hallmark universe and the Christmasland universe in general. Amelia, tell everybody before we go where they can find us.
Best place to find us is Substack, Journey to Christmasland. That's also our YouTube channel and our Facebook page, but we are JT Christmasland on X and Instagram.
And we have launched, by the time this goes to air, we have launched our paywall. And so we have our unboxing videos behind there. And yeah, we've been unboxing, and we're going to be launching March Madness at the end of February. So make sure you're signed up for everything. Tune in for that. Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you, ladies. Amelia, until you and I meet again, I wish you days filled with properly cooled silk pumpkin pie.
Thank you. I wish you a kitchen where nobody's in front of the drawer you need.
Merry Christmas, ladies.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.